everybody to another live segment of Rush Hour Africa. It's Saturday.
Stop it. I'm just gonna leave it going live for now, because it's irritating to have to restart it all over again. Okay. All right. It's already been live, so that way people can already start watching it. What's up, Elvis? I see you.
All right, welcome listeners and viewers to the second part of Rush Hour Africa. You can watch on Facebook Live, and you can always listen on www.myareavibe.com. The topic for discussing for this second segment is all about South Sudan and the conflict that is going on. If you're not aware of it, then for the past, I don't know, few months, there's been conflict going on in South Sudan, and it has become really, really dangerous and really bad for the people that live in South Sudan. And that is something that we have to talk and we have to discuss about. So if we hear, I just want to start from the grassroots, like what is all this conflict? Because we know that there was war in Sudan that caused a breakup, you know, for them to have North Sudan and South Sudan. But then after they've had that breakup, now in South Sudan there's conflict again, civil war. So I just want to know, and I have a guest over here. I'll let him introduce himself, and he has some, maybe he might know some things about South Sudan that he's going to tell my listeners and my viewers to know actually what is really going on in South Sudan. So brother, welcome. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
All right.
Let me introduce myself, man. My name is Nasir. My name is Nasir Nun, but I go by Professor. That's my artist name.
All right. Thank you for coming, sir.
Pleasure.
All right. So, what is really going on in South Sudan? That is my question. That is, if you have knowledge of it. I don't know where that thing started from. Now that after we have had South Sudan, so we thought everything was going to be peaceful now.
Right. You know, that's the hope. That's the hope of everybody. You know. When we had the First Nation, man, you know, everybody was excited. It was a big blessing. You know, it was the future. Like everybody thought that South Sudan, you know, was going to be, you know, that nation that everybody hoped for it to be. And then when that the conflict, when it broke out, it seems like all hope was lost. Although that may seem only to few. To me myself, I still believe, you know. I still believe that nation, South Sudan, can still arise, and you know that's just the issues of any new nation, man. Any country that's new, you know, everybody have problems. United States, when it was first founded, it has its first civil war. It was fighting against itself. So wars and stuff like that, of course, is not good. But it seems like every nation in the world, and this is historical, right? Every nation in the world, when they first had their independence or a country that they call themselves their own, they always had conflicts. And so South Sudan is not any different from any of those nations.
All right. Is it a fight for power, David? That's my question to you. Is it a fight for power for leadership? You know what I'm saying? Is it what the problem is?
Mostly the only problem I think Africa as a continent has is leadership. So right now, South Sudan, this conflict is about the vice president and the president. So basically it's about power struggle. It's about leadership, and they are failing Africa again. For what he said, I think although for every country, as a new country, they are supposed to go through certain things, but I don't think necessarily there has to be a conflict. I think if it was better than that, that would have been okay for the welfare of human beings. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. My brother Bienfait, you have something to put in?
Yeah, I have something to put in, man. Like, I believe, I agree with my brother here, like, every nation goes through that. It's a phase of figuring out who they are, and I believe that every other nation should stay out of their business and let them figure out who they are by themselves. And because when other nation invaded in other people's business, okay, that business does no longer become their business. It becomes everybody else's business, and that can never be solved by that country itself. To put it like that, it is a struggle of power. I wish like we can go way back when two wise kings, if they have problem with each other, they would just take it upon each other and not let like the other people, their people get into it, you know. So if like President Bashari and Vice President whatever his name is, I forgot, okay, have conflicts with each other, they should just take it out by themselves, you know. No need to involve innocent civilian who just trying to make a daily living, you know. I wish the world worked out that way. I wish men can just say, okay, it's me and you. No, you don't need to tell your people to stand down to protect the people. Because I mean, every leadership in there, they'll say we are here for the people. We want to protect the people. But then why are you doing all this violence, man? You know, that's always the question.
All right. According to what you're saying, that makes me my next question. Are you trying to say that without the conflict that is going on, I want David to answer first, then I'll come back to you, brother. Then I'll go back to my brother. Are you trying to say that with the conflicts and the war, where there is loss of human lives and displacement, you know what I'm saying? That's how come we have this whole lot of refugees coming from Africa. You know what I'm saying? Are you trying to say that the UN or no like foreign entity should intervene to help the people when these things happen, especially in South Sudan? What do you think about that, David?
To answer that question, I think human beings, we don't live in isolation. Nobody is an island. And when people are having a catastrophe in their country, I think just for humanity, people should intervene and help them out. Like for the Republic of Congo in 1994, UN had to step in to stop the M23 rebels. Other than that, they killed over 800,000 people. So with all these things coming together, the UN had not stepped in by that time. And in Rwanda, the UN is blamed for failing to stop the genocide. So for my brother here saying nobody has to intervene in other country business, I think that wouldn't be for the welfare of human beings. As we have the UN just watching Rwanda and people were massacred in thousands, I don't think it would be a good example to cite or to say people should not intervene in other countries' business, because when it comes to human being, it's not anybody's business anymore. We hope for the better of every human being on this earth. So I debunk that.
All right, to my guest here. What do you think about it? What do you think about that?
You know, it's as like you said, nobody is limited to help out. You know, I see it, African people. You know, I think if all the African nations can go out and seize and try to help out an African struggling nation, just like South Sudan at the moment, you know, but we don't see that. We see other nations, you know, who are non-Africans, and there's no problem with that. There's no problem with that. They've been doing it for years. But I would love to see, you know, our people, you know, giving out their heart and, you know, praying day and night, not ceasing. Their neighbors, like all the East Africa, all the West Africa, the Central, and the South Africa. We got a lot of powerful nations in Africa, you know, but you don't see a lot of help coming off of those nations. And yet the only thing that you see, they want to actually create even more problems. And I'm not speaking, this is my own personal opinions. Now I'm expressing my opinion. I don't stand for nobody. Everything that I'm saying is based on my own knowledge, and I'm responsible for what I'm saying. Okay, this is not everybody's responsibility.
Right.
South Sudan, you know, they got their own. I don't represent an entity. Okay, I'm an individual. I'm an artist, and I speak my mind. So what I want to see our African brothers, man. You know, those nations, Ghana, Nigeria, powerful nations, South Africa. They can set out.
No, the answer to that is we have the African contingent force over there. So to that, I think the AU has put something together already. And I think maybe right now we don't know specifically, but maybe there's something going on. The AU, we have the African contingent force over there that are supposed to intervene in terms of emergency and issues like this. So with that, it's not like our brothers are living South Sudan like that, you know.
Yeah.
So
okay. BFA, what do you think about it? You seem to suggest that they should just leave them to handle their own business, and at the end of the day, they will find a solution by themselves.
My brother, the thing is, I have a philosophy that was given to me when I was young. Was that if you and your brother have a problem, try to solve it by yourself. Now, if you can't solve it, then go seek out outside help inside the family before you take it outside. You know, so I believe in that philosophy throughout my life. And when I looked, history will testify to this. No nation has ever been sovereignty and create peace when foreign outside aid come in trying to solve that problem. There's no one nation that ever became. I'll give you a clear example. That's the American Civil War. Okay, more American people died in the American Civil War than all three wars America ever fought. Okay, but you didn't see no foreign government sending their military to support one side of the group, because if they would have done that, the Civil War even now could still be going on. You know, but eventually American people itself was sick and tired of fighting within each other, and peace came to be. Now America is the greatest country because they let other countries, like no other nation invaded, came in to support them. Another example, you brought up Rwanda, okay? Perfect good example. Where's Rwanda right now as a country? Rwanda is like right now. Rwanda is rising, okay. But if other nation came in over there to intervene again, so like when I look into in the step of building a nation, okay, we have to understand we know what it's like. Being a leader, you have to know there is some point where you're gonna be like, this is madness, okay. We have to do something to change that. And in terms of humanitarian aid, I'll completely understand that. Bring that. Don't bring your military force into, because you just go supply military weapons.
That to me, that is like total disregard for human life. What do you think about it?
He just said there's no country that has been peaceful.
Give me an example, please.
In Africa, most African countries have been into this, and there was UN help. And right now, those countries, we could talk of Liberia, Sierra Leone, and all these countries. In Africa, there's been a lot of issues. Somalia with these rebels over there.
Somalia is still a war.
No, I'm telling you, the condition over in these countries are better than how they used to be. So you are trying to tell me the genocide in Rwanda, if the UN had intervened and there wasn't those people massacred, that wouldn't have been okay?
Well, I'm not saying
we
the
don't follow, no.
I'm not saying the massacre is okay.
It's good. We don't emulate bad things. You can't tell me.
Hey, brother, let me control this thing right here. Okay, hold on. Let me follow up on something right here. Okay, I was reading this article from the Washington Post this morning, and it says that the South Sudanese civilians are living in displacement camp. They fear the UN peacekeepers cannot protect them from a massacre. And it says that the UN peacekeepers are standing by and watching as these military people, the troops, are raping, they are murdering the civilians, they are doing all kinds of stuff to the civilians, and they just standing there not helping. So what is their use? What is their use if they're gonna be there and not help the people? Then what are they there for?
That's a great question, man. That's a great question, and I wish everybody had the answer to that. But based on my opinion, I think because they only work under somebody's command. If they don't tell them, go ahead and fire a shot, shoot some fires and protect these people, they're gonna hold their ground and just keep whatever they were told to do. So they do not have an authority of their own unless they're being told. You know what I mean? Unless they're being told to go ahead and shoot your fires or try to protect these people. This is your job. This is what you were brought in this country to do. You got to protect these civilians. And so when the South Sudanese people saw, there is no hope if they cannot go to these people who came to their own country to help out, to kind of like be the second hand and protect them. If they're not feeling like protected and that, so there's nowhere else. That means that the UN itself has failed, right? Their mission has failed. Because if they go there to help people, but people are feeling hopeless or helpless in their own hands, that means they failed.
Okay, David, you were the one that really support, contrary to what BFA said, you the one that really support the UN coalition with the troops over there to help. And like brother said, if they're not there and they're not helping, then what is their work over there? What are they doing over there? If they just go stand there and watch these rebels murder people, rape women, do all kinds of things, inhuman activities to the people, then what are they there for? that means that maybe I support the people who have this whole idea that we don't need that intervention.
To that point, I say we just have to look at the root cause of the problem. What caused the civil war? What is causing all this violence in South Sudan? We have the military people, the loyalists to the president, Saba, that's his name?
Salva Kiir.
Yeah, Saba. We have the military people that are loyal to him against the vice president. His name is Machar. This the part of the military that was supports him, they disarm and they were targeting this group. So looking at it from this point, I think people that actually have sovereignty power in the country is the president right now, right? The military people, they are the legitimate people in South Sudan right now. The current president, Sabah, and his army. So if these people are in control, I think there will be kind of a limitation for the UN in the conduct of their activities. I cannot tell specifically because the UN has blamed the South Sudan soldiers, government soldiers, for raping and these activities, and they are denying these allegations and they are asking them to bring out their evidence. So having the UN complaining about the South Sudan government soldiers raping and killing people, that means they are there as a peace mission, right? So whatever they have to do over there, but there's authority over there. These people, the government, they have the sovereign authority over there. So in the conduct of the UN mission, I think it wouldn't be like they are there and they necessarily doesn't want to help the local people.
Alright, let me stop you over there, man. Let me stop you over there. Okay. See, the thing is, I think like David, the UN. When people think of the UN, I don't even want the UN to be involved in any African affair, personally. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. Okay, what I prefer to see will be the AU coalition, okay, coming together, demanding, okay, forcefully demanding, okay, ceasefire, because I know about 54 countries. If one country is fighting, that's 53 countries, okay, against one country. Forcefully demanding ceasefire from both sides of the party, okay, demanding that they the two leaders come out, okay, and negotiate peace, like the first time they did, okay, like the first time they did negotiate peace, and that is doable. That is doable. But here's the thing. Here's my problem with the AU coalition, okay, because AU coalition, it's over there. Yes, they're over there for humanitarian, but they're also over there for special interests. Okay? Let me give you a clear example.
You're talking about the AU or the United Nations?
No, I'm talking about United Nations. I'm sorry, not the AU. United Nations. They're over there for special coalition. Okay? The AU, no, wasn't good. The United Nations was not found, okay, to bring peace to Africa. That was never the agenda. Okay? As a matter of fact, when European countries came together to divide Africa, okay, that was the beginning. The founder of what's called the United Nations, okay, was to divide Africa and conquer. It wasn't to bring peace to Africa. It was to divide Africa and conquer. Okay, we have studied that to history. So they're over there to bring humanitarian, but they're also over there for personal interest. I'll give you a specific example. I saw this coming. I saw South Sudan peace that they have created falling apart. And the news I heard saying, oh, Bin Laden has left what's it called 20-something millions in South Sudan. And then I asked myself, like, I've been following news and reading a lot of articles my entire life on political. I never heard anything about South Sudan and Bin Laden. I heard South Sudan one time had Bin Laden in their hand and they were telling Clinton, hey, we have Bin Laden, but they didn't want him. But now since South Sudan has the oil, now they say, oh, Bin Laden left money there. We gotta go get that money. What money are they getting?
Let me come in. With the UN, you can have a lot of theories concerning the UN, like...
it's not theory, my brother. It's
what you're saying, you don't have any physical evidence. You don't have any concrete evidence.
I just give you an example. I just give you...
Now, what you just said, maybe if you are limited in a way to your information, because South Sudan, let me tell you, South Sudan was part of Sudan, and Sudan has been under sanction for supporting terrorism for a long time.
My brother.
So if hold on.
Who put all those sanctions?
United Nations.
You telling United
For
Nations?
supporting-
So the same
No,
people,
no, no,
the same
no.
people who
South
say-
Sudan
who-
is
who-
not- it's not-
who looks like
Hey,
America
David,
from
David, give me 1 second, brother. Let me control
doesn't
this
make
thing right here. All right, David, I want you to go with your point. What are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is the UN is very beneficial to everybody on this earth.
I disagree.
It's okay. As an entity,
Yeah.
as an entity or anything, any organization that is there, I don't think they can function perfectly. But for everything, we have the pros and cons. If you check on the positive side is far higher,
Overrides the negatives.
you go for that thing.
I disagree.
Looking at as an African and you brother from a fellow African country too, I wouldn't expect you to talk about UN that way because Africans, 75% of the refugees in this world come from our continent. And when we talk about refugees, how the United Nations, together with other organizations, has been helping out. I don't think if it wasn't this organization, how was it going to go?
David, my brother, you
You know,
know,
I agree with you to some point of what you're saying, and we're not trying to bash or we're trying to talk bad about the United Nations or what their mission is. Basically, our brother Ryan basically clearly said that their mission in South Sudan, people, the Sudanese people, the South Sudanese people are hopeless in their hands. They're being raped, they're being killed, they're being tortured in front of the UN. Those people who were brought to kind of control this thing.
I think that one, as African, I can't sit here and support that. I condemn that in totality.
I really agree with you, brother.
I understand the United Nations when it comes to Africans, we see what happened in Syria. The ISIS people were killing these Yazidi people, and how the whole world rushed to help them and rescue those people. I don't think that is what is happening in South Sudan. So that whole thing is something different. When something is about Africa, how the whole world respond. People in Nigeria, they have terrorism over there, and they've been killing people constantly, almost on a daily basis, and it doesn't even come in the news. They kill 3 people in France, and the whole world goes over there to mourn with them. What is wrong? African people, we are human beings too. In that sense, I can't support the UN mission. If they are there, from the last time I read, they had a mandate to use force to protect the local people when they are on that UN mission. So I don't know why right now. Maybe there's a reason that we don't know, but I condemn that act to just watch people being raped and killed. I think that is really bad for that sense. I don't support that act. Not that I condemn or I don't support UN. The UN is for the general good of everybody. They might have their own, like he said, they have political ambition or something, but for what I know as African and what UN has been doing for Africa, I think it's in a good direction.
David, personally to me, I don't hate the UN. Everything was created. When a man creates something for a positive reason. Okay, it's different men.
Not all the time, man.
Let me put it this way. Okay. When you create something, you create it to be beneficial for people. Okay, but when you create an organization that is mainly controlled or mainly gets its funding, okay, from the leaders or from nations who've been literally putting chains to the countries who sort of call helping, I call that the most hypocrite thing I ever seen. Okay, because you can't.
I don't understand.
Let me put this way. Okay, we understand the terms of lobbying. Okay, special interest. Okay, now if I'm pumping money in you, okay, now what do you think I want in return?
You want some profit.
Thank you. I want some profit. Okay, thank you, my man. Thank you. So when I say, if you look the majority of funding, which country give money to the UN, okay? You see, my professor once told me, B, you want to know what's going on in your country? Follow the money trail. I lived in my country. I never seen one company that makes weapons, okay? How do you think those rebels, how do you think all those people gets all those machine guns, okay? Ask yourself, how do these machine gun delivery come into my country and pass down to children to start killing people. People since they have AK-47 machine gun on their hands, and so how do you think all that stuff comes in our whole country? You told me you live in Ghana, right? Have you ever heard one what's it called? Okay, one company that makes weapons?
No.
No. Okay, so if the UN is if the UN
Okay,
is
let me kind of if we're gonna go there, these are things that we hear every day. That in black neighborhoods they don't make drugs, but they still find drugs in there. In African countries they don't make weapons, but they still find weapons. But what my main point is that is after the fact. After the fact that these people have been able to secure the weapons as rebels and they are using it to attack people. Why should the UN sit down and allow these rebels to kill their people? Because let me tell you something. Like he said, 75% of refugees in this world are from Africa. And those people today, they have life. Some have made it to become big people. Some were able to achieve their dreams because they were picked up from the hands of the rebels and taken to another land. Yesterday, I was watching the Olympic Games and I saw that they have a refugee Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? These are people that the United Nations is trying to give a dream, right? So are you trying to suggest that they should allow these people to stay there and be killed or whatever that's going to happen to them, and tomorrow things are going to take care of itself?
Whoa. Let me put this way, man. First of all, I'm all about per life, okay? Meaning I value the human life, okay? I hate killing, okay? I condemn any killing and any raping, okay? You have to understand, like what I'm trying to tell you guys is this, okay? You have to go back and study, okay? How, because peace doesn't happen when two people come together and start singing kumbaya. Okay, you're talking about a nation. Okay, you're talking about 300 million or 30 million people with different mind, different personality. Okay, different backgrounds, different losses, different pain. Okay, and then you're trying to bring all those people together to one piece, and these people are hungry. Like you always mentioned, people are hungry. People are suffering. Okay, I condemn any violence. I condemn any violence towards human. Okay, but what I'm saying is this: the fact that when a young nation is developing, okay, there are going to be some flaws. Just because they're making flaw. Let me give you an example. When your kid breaks something, okay, you go don't do that. Okay.
Support. If you don't support them,
I do not support the genocide.
I
do not support.
Okay. Let me come into my analysis. Listen,
what I'm saying,
if you don't support the genocide in Rwanda, then you will have wait for the UN to intervene. Right now, what your analysis is nobody should intervene, and the normal course in the natural order things will come back to stability. That is what you are trying to say. No, not with human beings. This is not experiment. They are not gonna leave anybody to be killed, as you are saying. By the time
but they are though. Right?
Hey,
but they are.
You think
are they not?
Not to the rate. No. Everything you measure to the rate that people are being killed.
So, that's not human being life.
No.
So it's not to the rate.
Listen.
So it's okay to kill them, but not that much rate. Is that what you're saying?
My point is, if the UN had intervened in Rwanda, we wouldn't have that Rwanda genocide.
My brother. If you want
my point is,
go back to the history of Rwanda and see who's the perpetrator, and then come back and tell me who caused the genocide.
No. Once we have the problem already. Why should I go back? There's no need to go back.
Okay, guys, wait. The last time I was reading this article, right, and this article seemed to suggest that I don't know the title of the article, or maybe somebody might have said it somewhere. It seemed to suggest that like all these problems going on in Africa. Let's say, for example, what is going on in South Sudan right now. South Sudan is a very young country. You know what I'm saying? Most of these African countries, Ghana was the first African country to get independence from colonial rule. I know some other countries might have had independence prior to that, but that wasn't from colonial rule. But Ghana was it, and we're not even up to 60 years old. The United Nations as a country is over 200. It's like 240 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's super old after independence. So what that person seems to suggest is that some of these African countries are pretty young, so they're gonna go through this kind of hassle, just like most of the European countries had civil wars. Most of the European countries had wars. Even the World War happened, whatever. Africa had nothing to do with that. It was between all those world powers. America went through its own civil war, and things happened. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, these countries were able to come out from that, and they were able to organize, and now things are moving on well. So while these African countries are pretty young, and things are happening, they're trying to organize themselves, they should just leave them. for them to organize.
What you are saying?
Definitely, there are going to be some killings, just like the American Civil War.
We live.
But later on,
Listen. We live in a different generation, different world right now.
We're still human.
What you are trying to tell me is, since America went through those civil war in those ages, we should allow African people to kill themselves. That's what you are.
I'm not saying
what you are suggesting.
It's a situation that is really happening at this moment. Wait. It's not about killing. It's about a power struggle. We're living here, right? When Russia, that was like a year ago, went to Crimea. You know what I'm saying? To fight the people in Ukraine to gain the land in Crimea. This thing still happen. It hasn't stopped.
No. What I'm saying is,
it's not just in Africa. It's all over the world.
No. Everywhere in the world, there's a UN or there's foreign intervention. Look at Syria.
How about Crimea?
Ukraine. Crimea used to belong to Russia, and Russia gave it to Crimea as a gift. So if Russia goes back to Crimea, Russia, I don't know that political, but Russia has
the world power did not support that at that moment, right?
The people of Crimea,
but people were still killed. People were still dying, right?
Do you know the people of Crimea voted to join Russia, to be part of Russia? And so, in that sense, if the people want to join Russia, it's their view. If they want to join Russia, it's okay. But what I'm saying right now is nobody can tell me since it's been the order, like the Europeans went through civil war and many people die, Americans went through, people die. We should leave African people to kill themselves too, and eventually Africa will be stable. No. That time, if there was the UN, you know the motto of the UN is never again. Because of those things that happened, that UN wasn't around. So right now, to me, I think it's bound to happen as a young nation. But thank God we have the UN and other international organizations ready in place to save human life when these things happen. Whatever you think, I think you came to America as a refugee. I know you personally, and if you happen to be in Rwanda and the genocide, they wouldn't have come in and you might have been dead. You wouldn't be here today. I'm using you as an example because you come from a neighboring country. You are lucky the UN stepped in, or whatever way happened, you are here today.
My brother, that's personal attack. I would like you to retract from that. That's personal attack, my brother.
I understand.
I would not allow you to have that.
No. I don't like people.
No. It's not. No, my brother. No. This is too personal. You taking it on a personal level. No, we don't do. I would not allow that. Wait. I would not. No, wait. No. I would not allow that to happen on my show now.
Okay.
That's not
okay, it's okay. But I'm just trying to cite example. Like we have so many people doing well in life just because they were rescued. If these people were allowed to be killed,
how do you that person was going to get killed though?
Hey, we know already that a lot of people have been killed in civil wars in Africa. You cannot tell this specific person might be
people, no, even in America people die. It doesn't have to be civil.
No. The rate people die is different. Normal death is okay, but
not about normal death. Even natural disasters can happen and it's going to kill people at the end of the day. Natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina killed people.
Hey,
natural disasters. Earthquake happened in Haiti. It killed people. It wasn't no civil war, whatever. That's an earthquake. It killed people.
No. What you're saying? No.
You go to
the example you are giving, those things doesn't make sense because if you try to tell me some people have been killed by some natural occurrence, and some people, human beings, should be allowed to be killed too because other people were killed by earthquake or hurricane. That's what you're saying.
It's because you went to the fact that people would have been killed if it wasn't because of somebody's intervention. How do you know they were going to get killed?
People have been killed already. What are you saying? Right now in Syria.
First thing is.
Okay. Let my brother step in.
First thing is the reason why the United Nations goes to those countries in the first place is because people are dying. So they're just gonna go in to intervene, trying to save some lives.
Okay.
You see what's going on? So it's not about who's dying and who's not. They're going there to prevent, or to at least kind of, limit a little bit down on
that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Kill it.
Okay. But sometimes I sit down and I wonder though, the rebels who are really fighting. You know what I'm saying? Maybe usually it's a rebel a rebel from a different tribe fighting the ruling government when those things happen. And if the United Nations step in, right? I thought they had all the ammunition, all the weaponry in the world to fight those rebels. How many people are they? What do they have? You know what I'm saying? But they're never able to fight rebels.
No, the point is you can't fight ideology. That's why mostly they try to talk to the leaders, the political leaders in these various countries, because the only people that can defeat is when you lose the will to fight again. and rebels, it's ideology or it's a revolution, you know. So mostly it's good to solve it diplomatically than to use weapon. And it happens like South Sudan right now. It's like tribal. We have the Dinka people against the Nuer people, right?
Well, that's
personal.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Civil war is definitely gonna be in the news, my brother.
Yeah, in the news, the vice president, Mashar, he said his name is Mashar. He's from the Dinka
No,
tribe. He's Noah, and the president is from the Dinka tribe, and the soldiers loyal to the vice president disarmed and now fighting against the soldiers loyal to the president. So when it comes to this line, it's pure tribal tendency ideology. People want to fight for their people.
Yeah.
And you can't go there and kill all this tribe.
Well, you know, for me, my personal, you cannot, you know. So there are some people who already named this thing. They already say some people already say this is a tribal war.
Mm-hmm.
Some say it's not a tribal war. I don't care what is it. War is a war, right? People are dying from each side. But that's not what's the problem. The main problem is we need to bring peace.
The main problem is there is a reason why they're fighting. That is the main problem.
Yeah, it's struggle of power right now.
Struggle of power.
And that's the struggle of
people
power.
fight for reason. People don't just fight for no reason.
The peace deal that was broken out, I think it came into pressure, and right now the vice president is in a hideout again, and they have appointed a new vice president.
And the new vice president I read today is planning to step down for another person.
Right.
What do you think about this?
And that to me, what the act that he did today,
Yeah.
to me that represents an act of change. And this is what we all need in South Sudan. Like if everybody's willing to step down for the sake of the nation, if anybody's willing down, because that's a huge position, right? If he was appointed to go into that position and to assume the chair, to become the vice president, but yet at the same time he doesn't want conflict to be, to start because of his name. He doesn't want to step down, and he willingly went over there and say, you know what? If he's back, I am willing to step down and give him back his position.
Yeah, he's back.
To
I
me,
guess so. He's willing.
that is an act of heroism. That's an act of unselfishness.
No,
That's
in terms of civil war, it might be a trick, man, because I read it too, and he said he's gonna step down if only that guy is gonna come to the capital, Juba, or come to Juba. He said he's gonna step down, and I was reading and I said, wow.
They're trying to trick him, yeah.
Yeah, he said that guy said he's gonna step down only when this guy can
come to Juba.
Back to Juba.
I read that.
This person is in a hideout, and I don't know who appointed that vice president though.
No, he did.
Who did the president?
Yeah, president. It wasn't called Vice President Mashar or the new vice president.
No. The vice president when Mashar went into hideout and
that one. Yeah.
So Saba, the president, appointed him. That means you cannot trust your opponent. This might just be a trick to have you, know. So I can't conclude by saying his act is unless
no. And was it a trick or not?
It's a bravery.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily see it though as bravery because it could prolong the war. If it happen to be a trick, there's going to be more bloodshed than usual.
Listen.
Okay.
Let me put this way. Okay, a man's word is his pride. Okay, we all live.
No, not when it comes to war.
Let me.
All right, guys.
In war and in combat, nothing is fair.
We only got 5 minutes. We're gonna end this whole thing. The last thing that I want to say is that last week they have the Nelson Mandela Washington Fellow program. They brought all these African students and people who are doing well in other fields from all these African countries to have an interaction with President Barack Obama. And there's one thing that Barack Obama said that I take from this whole thing. He said, all you guys sitting here, your talents are the futures of your countries. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting now thinking, if your talents are the futures of your country, then what about the Africans that are living in the diaspora? Their talents, what are their talents the futures of? Which country are their talents the future of? Is it for their own countries or for America? Looking at the European Cup, I saw so many black people playing for some of these countries. That is talent being used in somewhere else.
Let me answer that question, man.
You only have one, brother.
Oh yeah, let me put it this way. That question it's a personal choice, okay? Because a country is just a name that can always be changed. But what you value, what's more important to you, that's what makes you, that's who you want to bring glory to. Okay, so it's a personal choice.
Right.
Yeah, so if me personally, Congo's my home, and I was born and raised, I still have more valuable. I care more deeply of what happens over there. So me bringing glory to Congo, me bringing glory to Africa, it's my home. You know, this is like my adopted home, but home is still home.
All right,
You
sure,
get it? So
sure.
it's a personal choice.
All right, sure.
Hey, whatever you do with your talent is what you do. It's your opinion. I mean, it's who you are. It's how you're gonna spend it. It's up to you. But at the same time, you know, I feel like if Africans, all right, are over here possessing all these talents, but yet they're not seeing anything. Because I don't believe, personally, I don't believe that all these African people who have all this talent, they don't want to go back and build their nations. They do. They do want to go back. But the thing is, the situation is back there. It's tough. And, you know, you just don't want to carry yourself over there. Because I know a lot of people who, they go over there and, you know, the situation is tough. And they cannot really express. They cannot really, you know, go and implement all those talent that they have. And they don't want to let it go to waste. So they, you know what? They lean back on their personal, you know, interest and what fits them best.
All right, sure. How about you, David?
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in what President Obama said because actually I don't really believe in that because Africa, our problem is not talent. It's poor leadership. That is what all it's about. So switching from that, I don't even want to talk about it. We don't need talent. If you had Usain Bolt run for Africa, Africa doesn't need any talent. It's not gonna solve any problem for them. What I think is a problem of leadership, the youth.
Okay, leadership can be a talent that somebody possesses, but because that person does not get to use that in Africa, he uses it somewhere else.
The problem in Africa right now, like we have in South Sudan, that is what we should concern ourselves about. If George Weah was the world best player,
We're talking about the future, brother.
The future depends on the leaders, the quality of leaders that we have. We need transformational leaders. We don't need talent.
How do you know we don't have a charismatic leader? Some people were born to be leaders, but he's living somewhere else, and
I don't know what the problem is, but it seems the whole Africa, we have our main problem is human resource. We have all the other resources, it's a human resource. We don't have people that are
committed with the knowledge.
Just like Indian people that love here, it's them becoming this, and they go back to India. But how can you develop yourself?
Which is true, man. I know what you're saying.
Just develop yourself. You know, if we have Africans developing themselves, even if we doesn't return back, the influence we're gonna impact other people at home that look at us. So it's not personal. If you are African, it's not you don't live how you want to please you. In the end, that is meaningless to us. We have to live a life that is wealthy to American people or do something actually good in Africa. That is what I think. And to the conclusion, South Sudan people, I hope people will not follow people that have power and lead. In the, I know it comes back to tribal, but in the end, if he becomes the president or the vice president, I don't think if you live in the village like how I used to live in the village in Ghana, he's gonna buy a car for you. So I think it's time like people need to educate the youth. You know, we need to concentrate on ourselves, develop our innate abilities, not about helping these political leaders right now that are very visionless. They don't have any vision. This will absorb all rebellion and all these fights if people just want to develop themselves instead of following other people blindly. No need to kill anybody for another person to be a president or vice president. To me, it's useless. I wouldn't kill anybody to be a president.
Can I say something, man?
Yeah, 1 minute there.
You know, I have 1 minute. I just want to encourage all South Sudanese people, man. And the only reason, the only time we're gonna have peace in South Sudan is if all the South Sudanese people really, want that peace. Are they really hungry for peace? We've seen what happened in 2011 in the Arab Spring. Throughout the Middle East, they demanded change, right? They had president steps down. Mm-hmm. They encouraged, as a matter of fact, they killed their president on the streets. They dragged them. We saw that happen to Gaddafi. So it just depends on how hungry we really want this peace in South Sudan. If we really are that hungry, then we can go and demand peace. Because what is it? If we want democracy as we claim we are, then the power is in the people.
Amen.
Who's the government? Government is the people. You cannot let a couple of people, ruin the whole nation for everybody else. We have 64 tribes. If we all unite and just go out there and demand peace, just like those Arabs did in 2011, guess what? We can do it. Guess we can do it. So the peace really depends on the people. If we really need it, if we really want it, if we're hungry for it, we can achieve it.
All right, thank you, brother, for those powerful words. Thank you for coming through, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks to my panel, David, Genfe, and fine gentleman right here, Elvis. And what you want to say, Dave?
I'm just saying, mostly African people doesn't patronize African activities.
Yeah.
We thank you very much for being here today, and I hope you'll be supporting our program and you'll be watching. If you are watching this program, any black person, anybody, African, if you have business, we reach more than 6,000 people on our page, Facebook page, and we are willing to advertise the program for you for free. If you have talent and you just want to showcase or you want the world to know, you are welcome here. Contact any of the Rush Hour crew and we'll be willing to help you.
Yeah, sure. If you have any program you want to advertise, promote it, just hit us up. Rush Hour Africa. We're going to give you some airtime. We try to support and help black people, especially Africans and ourselves, just to bring things up, just to, help us achieve our aims and help us bring our talents out. So just go there, like the Rush Hour Africa page, and tune in on Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. and listen to the discussion. And you can join in via Facebook or you can call the number. We're going to put it out later and join in the discussion.
Don't forget to like us, to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Whatever you are, we are there too. Rush Hour Africa.
Don't forget to tune in, man. Professor Nasir,
Professor Nasir in the
Go on
building.
my YouTube.
And don't forget about rebranding.
The
Rebranding your mind.
going down. All right. So we'll meet again. That'll be next week, Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. We will give you the topic for discussion on Wednesday. So go like our Facebook page, and you get to hear the first things that we're gonna do.
If somebody wanna be a guest on our show or wanna suggest any issue on the African continent or about black people, they could post it on Rush Hour Africa.
Rush Hour Africa.
Yeah. So
exactly.
if you wanna be a panel member like Daniel, right? Daniel, right?
No, it's not.
Nah,
Professor.
right now, you should you could contact us on Rush Hour Africa page and we will talk to you. Just message us and we will respond to you.
All right. Thank you guys for coming, and we hope you guys have a good evening. The weekend is still young, so go have fun. Until we meet again, Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. It's Rush Hour Africa on myareavibe.com. Bye.
And good night.